Ever wondered why some ads stick in your mind, others fade away like a bad dream? Welcome to Mastering Mind Control, where we unlock the secrets behind how you're influenced every single day. Today, we're diving into a game changer: storytelling in marketing. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see ads in a whole new light. So what's the deal with storytelling? Why is it everywhere? Let's break it down. Storytelling in marketing isn't just about telling a tale. It's about connection. It's a way to turn simple marketing messages into something unforgettable. Imagine a plain burger ad saying, "Our burgers are tasty." Now compare that to a story about a family bonding over a meal at a burger joint. Which one hits harder? That's the power of storytelling. Here's the secret. Stories make us feel, and emotions are everything in marketing. When a story sparks happiness, nostalgia, or even a little fear, it sticks. It's why brands like Nike don't just sell shoes, they sell inspiration. Why Coke doesn't just sell drinks, they sell moments of joy. These are what we call marketing stories. All boils down to consumer psychology. When a brand taps into what we feel, think, or dream of, it builds trust and loyalty. That's where storytelling techniques come in, hooking us with emotions we can't ignore. But how do brands actually pull this off? What techniques do they use to make us feel so connected? Stick around, because in the next part, we're spilling those secrets. 2. Techniques of manipulative storytelling. All right, so you get it. Storytelling grabs our attention. But why does it really work? How does it tap into our brains so deeply that we don't even notice we're being pulled in? Buckle up, because we're diving into the psychology behind these stories. And trust me, it's more than just fairy tales. Welcome to the world of mind manipulation. 2.1. Cognitive biases in play. Let's start with something called the empathy gap. Ever noticed how an emotional story can completely bypass your logic? You might know a product is overpriced or unnecessary, but if the ad tugs at your heartstrings, you'll still want it. That's the empathy gap in action. Our emotions often override our logical thinking. Marketers know this, so they create stories that hit us in our emotional core. And that's how they convince us we need something, even when we know we don't. Then there's confirmation bias. You've probably seen ads that align perfectly with your beliefs or values. Brands do this on purpose. They craft stories that validate your worldview, making you feel understood and supported. It's like they're saying, "We get you." And when that happens, we're more likely to trust the brand and buy from them. It's not just selling a product, it's selling the idea that you belong. 2.2. Narrative transportation. Now let's talk about narrative transportation. Ever watch a commercial or an ad and feel like you're actually part of the story? That's narrative transportation. When you're so immersed in the story, you suspend disbelief and truly believe the message. It's like watching a movie and forgetting it's a movie. Marketers use this technique to pull you into their world, making their product or service feel like an essential part of the narrative. This emotional immersion is powerful. When you're hooked like this, you're not just being persuaded, you're convinced. 2.3. Crafting relatable narratives. Next up, relatability. Marketers aren't just telling random stories, they're telling stories you can relate to. Think about the ads that make you go, "That's me." Brands tap into personal or cultural touchpoints, like family, friendship, or even shared struggles. It's why you see ads that feature real people instead of models. They're not trying to sell a product. They're trying to make you feel like you're already part of their world. And that connection, it builds trust. When you feel like the brand gets you, you're way more likely to trust them, and trust equals sales. 2.4. Enhancing with visual and auditory elements. Now let's talk about the power of colors, music, and visuals in storytelling. Ever notice how certain colors make you feel a certain way? Red equals excitement. Blue equals trust. Yellow equals optimism. These color choices aren't random. They're carefully selected to evoke emotions that support the story being told. And the music, it's no accident either. Ever heard a song in an ad that made you feel pumped up or emotional? That's the power of sound. to stir your emotions and reinforce the narrative. Together, these elements heighten the emotional impact of the story and make it more memorable. So, next time you see an ad that gives you chills or gets you hyped, remember, it's not just the message, it's the psychological magic happening behind the scenes. Real-world case studies, storytelling that changed the game. All right, we've broken down the psychology behind storytelling, but let's take a step back and look at some of the best examples of storytelling that have completely changed the marketing game. These aren't just ads, they're legends that built empires. Let's jump right in. 3.1 Coca-Cola's Share a Coke campaign. First up, Coca-Cola. This one's a classic. In 2011, Coca-Cola swapped their logo with people's names on bottles. Share a Coke with Sarah, or Share a Coke with John. It was a genius move. Why? Because it made the story personal. Suddenly, Coke wasn't just a drink. It was something you could connect with. It wasn't about refreshing yourself. It was about sharing a moment with someone you care about. The emotional connection it sparked was huge. People bought Coke just to see their name or their friends' names on the bottle. This wasn't just an ad. It was personalized storytelling that made people feel special, like they were part of a bigger story. And guess what? That emotional bond led to more sales, stronger brand loyalty, and millions of social media shares. Coca-Cola turned a simple bottle of soda into an experience, and that's the power of emotional storytelling. 3.2 Apple's Think Different campaign. Next, let's talk about Apple. In 1997, they launched their Think Different campaign, and it changed everything. Instead of just selling gadgets, Apple sold a mindset. The ad featured images of revolutionary figures like Albert Einstein, Martin Luther King Jr., and Picasso. They weren't selling a product, they were selling an idea. Be different, challenge the norm, think outside the box. This wasn't just an ad about a computer, it was about a movement. Apple wasn't just positioning itself as a tech company, it was positioning itself as a symbol of creativity, innovation, and rebellion against the status quo. And because the story resonated with the values of millions, Apple turned itself into a brand you could believe in. People didn't just buy Apple products because they were cool. They bought them because they believed in what Apple stood for. That's how powerful storytelling can transform a brand into a global icon. 3.3 Dove's Real Beauty campaign. And lastly, Dove. Their Real Beauty campaign broke the mold in 2004. And it's still being talked about today. Instead of showing airbrushed supermodels, Dove featured real women of all shapes, sizes, and ages. The story was about celebrating true beauty, not the perfect image society pushes. Dove said, "We don't need to fit the mold, we are the mold." What made this campaign stand out wasn't just the message. It was the story of empowerment and self-acceptance. Women everywhere felt represented and valued. Not just for how they looked, but for who they were. And Dove didn't just sell soap. They built an emotional connection by changing the conversation around beauty standards. This campaign wasn't just about selling a product. It was about shifting societal norms. Conclusion, key takeaways, and call to action. All right, let's wrap this up. Here's what we've learned. Storytelling isn't just a marketing tool. It's a psychological weapon. From Coca-Cola's personal touch to Apple's revolutionary mindset and Dove's real beauty message, stories are what connect brands to our hearts. They influence our decisions, shape our beliefs, and even challenge the way we see the world. But remember, there's a fine line between persuasion and manipulation. When stories tap into our emotions, they can either inspire us or control us. It's up to us as consumers to stay aware and recognize when we're being sold a story, not just a product. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever bought something because of a powerful story? Or maybe you've noticed an ad that felt a little too manipulative? Drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more insights into how the world of marketing shapes our minds. Until next time, keep mastering your mind control.